Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we'll be discussing chapter 1, Advanced Spring Annotations. So the presentation will cover component annotations, lazy versus eager loading, bin scopes and configuration properties, and property source and dependency injection, and controllers services and bin life cycles and real outputs. So now we're going to go to our component, which is books, and it is a bin. So this is not a spring bin unless annotated an add component or registered via bin. So this one, it is my real bin. So let me just explain what is going on inside this bin before I go on. Okay. Okay, these are just my prototypes. I'll just go here. So I have my book. Inside my book, I'm making use of a class, right? Let me just do this. I'm setting the title, I'm setting the string description and all that. And this is just my bin. And I'm going to go to the next slide. I have the component on lazy bin, and it is created only when the first is requested. And without wasting any time, let me just go into my demo runner and things properly. Okay, I'm inside my demo runner. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do this so that you can see. So I'm going to comment this and uncomment it. So as you can see, I have my demo singleton. So wait, inside my singleton scope is that one instance is repeated per application. And to get more into detail into that, um, the same instance is returned every time the get bean is called from the book controller that I showed you. So the hash code method printed multiple times but identical. It proves the same instance it is reused, and it is useful for the stateless shared components. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run our single scope again. We run our demo single scope, and we're going to see the output that we get. So it's running. Let's just wait for a second. So now the application is starting. So as you can see, I have my single scope annotation, and the same instance is returned every time the get bin is called, and the hash code method printed multiple times by identical, and proving that the same instance is reused and it is useful for stateless and shared components. As you can see here, I have identical numbers 443, 443, 443. So yeah, now I'm going to comment this, and I'm going to uncomment my prototype. Now firstly, let's go to our slide and see what is happening inside there. So my prototype scope is that a new instance is requested in every request. So I'm gonna go here. So my prototype scope demo, what is happening is that a new instance is created each time the getBean method is called. So the hash code method, it is different from each call and proves that the container creates a new object. It is useful for stateful or frequently changing objects. So Now I'm going to rerun and we're going to see the demo prototype um, output and what is happening there. No, it's building. Let's just wait for it. By the way, we're dealing with component annotation. So component annotation indicates that an unnamed class is a Spring Bean component. So the component annotation tells Spring Container to automatically create the Spring Bean, and we're using auto wired annotation. So the add auto wired annotation is used to inject the bean automatically. So the add auto wired annotation is used in a constructor injection, setter injection, and field injection. So as you can see, I have the same numbers repeated, and what is happening in my prototype scope is that a new instance is created each time the get bean is called. So the hash code method, it is different from each call, proving that the container creates a new object and useful for stateful or frequently changing objects, right? Now we're going to go to our demo property source. Just want to go to this. So this is my code for demo property source, and it has different hash codes and different instances. So in our demo property source, what is happening here? Let's go here. In my demo property source is that the properties are loaded from an external .properties file into the environment, and the property source demo.getHost.getEmail method, it is fetched map values, and it helps the separate configuration from code for flexibility. So if we can go to our application YML, I have my mail.host, which contains of my gmail.com and my email and my password, and the top app level configurations and the app descriptions and the nested object properties, which has my security passwords and roles, and my map properties. So what is happening is that it loads the properties from my application YML file into the environment, and then the property source demo.getHost.getEmail that I showed you, it fetches the map values inside here. Which ones are the map values? The map values are these ones, right? Which has permissions inside them. And then it helps to separate the configuration so that the code can be easy and flexible, right? Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our demo runner, and we're going to see the output that we get for our property source, demo property source. So it has get host, get email, it gets the password, it gets the app name and the app disk. So now we want to see that in our console. So as you can see now, I have the gmail.com that we took from our application.yml properties, which is ramesh@gmail.com, and our secret password, which is encrypted. That's why it is just written secret. And then our configuration properties demo and our configuration properties demo description. So last time, what is happening? It loads the properties from my application.yml file into the object, and the property source demo gets the host and the email, and then fetches the map values that I showed you in my terminal here. Now we're going to comment our property source, and we're going to uncomment our demo configuration properties. Let's just go here and see our demo configuration properties. So let's first see the output for our demo configuration properties, and we'll get into the vid. Okay, it had an error. Let's just rerun. So now, as you can see, we have our demo configuration properties. What is happening is that it automatically binds the hierarchical properties into a strongly typed Java object. And then the app properties demo.display method, it prints the structured config app.name and the app security. As you can see here, we have the uploads and the Java guides, and everything is true. It is running well. So it is great for grouping related settings cleanly. And that is our configuration properties demo, and we are done with the prototypes and single tones. Now I'm going to go to the other slide, and we're going to discuss some other things. Now we're going to do, let's see, our service layer. We have our business logic layer. We have our pizza implementations, which has the strategy pattern. I just want an advanced an advanced uh, an advanced slide. Okay, I have nested. I have property source, which loads the properties files. As you can see, this is my code. It loads the extra properties and the controller example. We have an MVC controller class. Then the service layer, we have the business logic layer and the pizza implementations, I did say. Then our dependency in injection. We have the code here. We creating a class which is pizza controller, and we declaring it to pizza. Then it returns pizza.get pizza. It get a specific pizza, and the constructor injection. Then the bin cycle, I have the component and all of that. I just want to see something. This is what I need to cover. Now we have plain Pojo versus Spring Bean. Now what is plain Pojo? It is a class with fields and methods but not managed by Spring unless explicitly registered. Then we have the Spring Bean. What is a Spring Bean? A Spring Bean is an object by the Spring IOC container lifecycle controlled by Spring. So as you can see here, we have our bean, which is what? Our book, right? Now, what is happening? It is an object managed by the Spring IOC container lifecycle controlled by Spring. And that is it. That is it for tutorial 3. Inside my tutorial 3, I explained everything in short. So we have the target folder, which targets the classes, the specific classes that we want in our pox.html for our packages. Inside our scope, we have prototype bean, and we have our repository, and then we have our eager loading and lazy loader. But what I want there's one thing that I should to explain. uh we have eager loading, right? Now I forgot to explain this. Inside my property source I have eager loader. So what is happening is that, where is it now? It is created as a startup and the constructor runs immediately. And then I have the lazy bean. Now inside this lazy bean, it is a component, right? I have lazy bean. It is a component, and the constructor prints only on the first use of the lazy bean. And then we have the plain Pojo. I have the public class book, and the explanation: it is not a spring bean unless annotated, and then it is registered via the add bean method. And I am done for my presentation. That was tutorial 1, and I forgot to mention one thing. When I go to my front end to see the book if it is working nicely, as you can see, I go to localhost 8080 API and I get this learn core.java latest features, and everything runs well, and I explained my whole processes. Hope you learned something from this tutorial, and hope you click that subscribe button to view more of my content.